employees.
Tonight,
he sustained a lot of loss of oxygen and blood, and his kidneys actually went into complete kidney failure.
He had very significant acute kidney injury.
an ABC 27 special presentation.
Seeing him today, you would have never guessed what we went through with him.
Family Matters, sponsored by Penn State Health Children's Hospital.
Good evening, I'm Deborah Pinkerton. In 2021, Penn State Health Children's Hospital was recognized by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best children's hospitals in the nation, being recognized specifically for 5 different specialties. Tonight, you'll meet patients treated by 2 of them, pediatric cardiac surgery and nephrology. And this month marks the one year since Penn State Health Children's Hospital opened its new addition with 3 new floors and an expanded NICU. And they have a lot to be thankful for. In the last year, 2,400 babies were born in the new Women and Baby Center. 40+ sets of multiples were born in the hospital. 4,500 pediatric surgeries were performed, and 625 babies graduated from the NICU. Penn State Health Children's Hospital is also thankful to be supported by Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and tonight, CMN is here to answer your questions in a live web chat. Denise McCracken is standing by with more. Hi, Denise.
Hi, Deborah. Yes, viewers are sending in questions right now. And tonight, Allison Mason, Communications Manager at Children's Miracle Network Hospitals, will answer those questions about CMN. If you have any questions, you can join the live web chat right now. Just go to abc27.com/family. And we'll be back later in the show to share those with you, Deborah.
Thanks, Denise. A Perry County family quickly learned what happens when you have kidney problems. Deacon Murtaugh was born with the disease. Here's Deacon's journey. Gettysburg is 6-year-old Deacon Murtaugh's favorite place to visit. The family camped there a few weeks ago.
He is fascinated with everything down there. So we went and enjoyed it. We had some trick-or-treating at the campground we were staying at. And then lastly, we did the battlefield. No matter how many times we're there, we have to go to the round tops. We have to go around Devil's Den and everything.
Memories made, memories Stephanie and her husband cherish.
Given the information that we had received when he was a baby, I never expected us to have the fun and family outings that we can now.
Stephanie vividly remembers when Deacon arrived 6 weeks early.
Deacon was born September 6, 2015 via an emergency C-section due to a placenta abruption. He sustained a lot of loss of oxygen and blood, and his kidneys actually went into complete kidney failure.
After his birth, Deacon was transferred to Penn State Children's Hospital.
He had very significant acute kidney injury, what people think of as kidney failure. And for several weeks after he was born, had very poor kidney function. I would describe it as just barely avoiding dialysis, which is replacement for kidney function at that time.
Knowing that his kidneys were functioning at 10% or less, we knew, okay, transplants, possibility, dialysis is a possibility. How are we going to do this with a newborn being on dialysis?
Doctors came up with a plan to treat Deacon's kidneys so they would function on their own.
He was low in sodium without having it supplemented. So we gave him a sodium chloride solution to be able to maintain his sodium status until his kidneys were able to do that on his own.
It was basically salt water that was used as his form of miracle grow. And by the time he was a month old, his kidney function went from being the 10% or less range to at 20%.
While Deacon's kidney function improved, there was another concern.
December of 2017, so he was 2 years old. We discussed growth hormones. We saw his kidney function improving to the point it got up to 67% total kidney function. However, he was not growing.
The kidneys are involved in the metabolism of growth hormone, and sometimes when kidney function is poor, children will grow very poorly because they don't correctly process, is probably the way to think of that growth hormone and the things that come after growth hormone in terms of helping with growth. So he required growth hormone injections on a daily basis.
And in January 2018, he started getting a nightly shot of human growth hormone, which giving a child a shot is a job to begin with, yet alone giving it nightly. And he received human growth hormone for up until October of 2019.
During that time, Deacon grew 3.5 inches.
Deacon went from being in the negative percentile in height to this very day, I think he is now in the 25th percentile in height. So he's still short, but he grew. Deacon
is a lovely, well-grown child. Now, it worked well for him, and now as I mentioned, his kidneys have improved.
Stephanie calls Deacon her magic flower. He continues to grow and thrive.
He absolutely loves school, camping with our family. He loves motorcycles and race cars. He rides his own electric Harley Davidson bike now, knowing that he has come that far to do things that he absolutely loves is just a mom's dream come true.
And Stephanie can't thank the doctors at Penn State Health Children's Hospital enough for all they have done to help Deacon. Doctors monitor Deacon's progress every 6 months. Now joining us is Dr. Deborah Key-Foltz, Division Chief of Pediatric Nephrology at Penn State Health Children's Hospital. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Why didn't you talk to us about the nephrology program and what it offers at Penn State Health Children's Hospital?
So we, in our pediatric nephrology program, care for children with a wide variety of kidney disease, some very mild, some quite severe. A large part of our practice is with children who broadly have chronic kidney disease, which is what is true for Deacon. And again, that goes from mild to severe. Chronic kidney disease is often a progressive process. Over time, it gets worse. When that happens, we have the capability of providing dialysis in several different forms, which is replacement for kidney function. And we are also able to provide pediatric kidney transplantation for those children who need it.
And I'm sure having kids with kidney problems is a very stressful time, as we saw with Stephanie. How do you work with patients to make sure they have the best patient experience with their kids?
I think that probably the most important thing that we do is make ourselves available for conversation as we go through that monitoring process that you mentioned with Deacon. Having chronic kidney disease is a very uncertain thing. Unfortunately, it is often not possible to predict how bad it's going to become over time. I mentioned that it's by nature sometimes a progressive process, and we just don't know whether dialysis or transplant is going to be necessary in the future. We try to spend as much time as is needed to talk with families, describe where their child's kidney function is, and describe what the possibilities and probabilities are for the future, and provide that information over and over again as much as it is necessary.
Now, you have a special program for kids called Camp Kidney. Sounds wonderful. Tell us about it.
So Camp Kidney is a week-long sleep-away camp for children with all forms of kidney disease. We take children who range in age from 7 to 18, and we try to provide what everybody would think of as a normal or usual camping experience, with hiking, other outdoor activities, swimming, climbing wall, a ropes course, crafts, staying overnight in cabins. And I think that what makes it special for the kids who come are both the opportunity to interact with other children like them. Pediatric kidney disease is not very common, and so they get to meet children who have been through similar experiences. I think one of the most significant things that we have at Camp Kidney is each kidney kid, as we call them, can bring a sibling or a friend to camp. Sometimes I think people don't think about the effect that a chronic illness has on other family members, and particularly for the teenagers, on the teenagers' close friends. And they get also a chance to interact with people who have been through that process with their families or with their friends. I think for me, one of the most rewarding things about camp, I've been there for a lot of years, is that I get to watch our campers, both the children with kidney disease and their friends and brothers and sisters, grow up in our camping process and often ultimately become our best counselors and staff members. I think one of the most rewarding things about being a pediatrician in general is watching our patients grow up and turn into successful young adults, and camp is one of the places that we get to see that. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the Children's Miracle Network is one of the big financial supporters of our camp, and we really appreciate that support.
Oh, Dr. Keys-Foltz, thanks so much. That does sound like such a special program for the kids.
Thank you.
And if you would like to schedule an appointment, or if you would like more information about Penn State Health Children's Hospital, visit online at pennstatehealth.org/children's. Now let's check in with Denise McCracken for the answers to some viewer questions we've received. Denise?
Thanks, Deborah. Well, here to answer those questions tonight is Allison Mason, Communications Manager at Children's Miracle Network. Allison, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our first question, what does CMN do to help kids and families at Penn State Health Children's Hospital?
Well, we like to say that we give kids the gift of growing up. You know, growing up is a gift. It's not a guarantee. So we like to fund the things that help children get better so that they can lead healthy lives. And one of those things are those medical camps, but we also fund a lot of other things. We call them the margins of excellence. We go above and beyond what the hospital budget can afford. And that comes through programs, equipment, and research. And that money goes to help kids at the main hospital in Hershey and all the clinic sites around the region. And, you know, some of those programs include music therapy, art therapy, child life. Hospitals can be a scary place for adults even too. So for kids, we want to make the hospital a less scary place to be. So that comes in the form of distraction toys when the kids are getting a procedure, therapeutic play. One of the most popular activities is hospital bingo, where kids get to learn about things they see in the hospital, but then also get to win some really fun prizes. And then we also fund, you know, that state-of-the-art equipment. That can be things like a pediatric ambulance, ventilators, heart-lung bypass machines, a portable CT scanner that can be wheeled to a child's bedside. Most recently, we funded these cameras for the new NICU, where parents can log on through an app and watch their baby in an isolette, even if they're not able to be at the hospital.
Sounds like there's a lot of great things going on with CMN. Thank you so much, Allison. And if you have any questions, you can join the live web chat right now. Go to abc27.com/family, and we'll check back in with you a little later in the show. Back to you, Deborah.
Thanks, Denise. Later in the show, learn about the new pediatric ambulance used by Penn State Health Children's Hospital and what it means to be a level 1 children's hospital. But coming up next, you'll meet Cayden Rhodes. At 4 days old, he had open heart surgery. Now he is 19 years old. His story is coming up next. Stay with us.
This is Harrisburg and Hershey, West Shore and Wyomissing, Lancaster and Lingelstown. This is hard-working people, growing families, and Friday night lights. This is hope, heart, and heroes. This is our community at its best. This is the health we need to live the way we want. This is Penn State Health. Learn more at thisispennstatehealth.org.
You're watching Family Matters on ABC 27, sponsored by Penn State Health Children's Hospital.
Welcome back. A Lancaster County teen just started his freshman year at college. The opportunities are endless for Cayden Rhodes. Just ask his surgeon. Here's Cayden's journey.
I was at Hershey Park with a couple of my grandkids, and I'm walking along, and here comes Cayden, and he was bouncing along with a couple of his buddies and friends, and he saw me and hollered my name out. I walked over and we chatted for a little bit.
19-year-old Cayden Rhodes is able to have fun with his friends thanks to Dr. John Myers. Dr. Myers was there for Cayden when Cayden needed him the most.
Cayden was born with a condition known as interrupted aortic arch and ventricular septal defect. Interrupted aortic arch is when the blood vessel that comes out of the heart supplying blood to the body is interrupted after it gives off all of the branches to the upper part of the body. The ventricular septal defect is a hole between the two lower pumping chambers.
At 4 days old, Cayden had open heart surgery.
We put patients on the heart-lung machine to keep blood circulating through their body, and we cool their body temperature down very low because we have to turn off the heart-lung machine for a period of time while we bring those two blood vessels back together. Once that's completed, we can restore blood flow from the heart-lung machine and go ahead and close the hole between the lower pumping chambers.
This was the first of 4 surgeries Dr. Myers performed on Cayden. All were successful, giving Cayden the life he deserves.
You know, I've been doing this type of work for probably over 35 years now, and it is very gratifying to be able to take a baby that's got a very complex problem and reconnect things or close holes or fix valves and be able to return them back to their parents and to be able to know that they're going to live a good life.
Cayden graduated and now is attending Harrisburg Area Community College and is pursuing a career in criminal justice. As you can see, Cayden is doing great. And joining us now is Dr. Brian Clark, Chief of Pediatric Cardiac Surgery at Penn State Health Children's Hospital. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What a remarkable story. Tell us about cardiac surgery at Penn State Health Children's Hospital.
Well, the pediatric heart team at our children's hospital cares for all forms of congenital heart disease, which is heart disease that is present in babies at birth, a heart defect present at birth. Approximately 1 in 100 children born has a heart defect. Wow. Some of these heart defects are not so severe that they require early surgery, and surgical repair can be delayed until later in infancy or into early childhood. On the other hand, some are more severe and require repair in the early newborn period. Approximately half of the children that we take care of with heart surgery are under 1 year of age. So caring for babies with heart disease is an important part of our practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you were recognized by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best programs in the nation. What makes your program so special?
Well, in recent years, the methodology that the U.S. News has used to rank pediatric heart and cardiology programs has increasingly relied upon patient outcomes, which means how well patients do following heart surgery. And those outcomes are things that can be measured, like hospital survival and avoidance of complications. Our program has consistently, for many years, offered outstanding outcomes to patients and families. And our hospital survival has been well above the national average for quite a long time.
Yeah, and certainly Cayden is a perfect example of that. Now, you work very closely with pediatric cardiology and labor and delivery to coordinate deliveries when you know there may be a problem with the baby's heart. How do you all work together?
That's correct. It's a complex situation involving a lot of providers, but usually heart defects in babies can be found on routine ultrasound. When a heart defect is found, perhaps by an obstetrician, the mother is usually referred to a pediatric cardiologist with special expertise in imaging who does a dedicated ultrasound of the baby's heart. Depending on what the heart disease is, it may be recommended that the mother delivers the baby at a children's hospital that can offer pediatric heart surgery. In that case, we would offer the mother consultations with all of the specialist providers that would be caring for the baby after birth, such as cardiologists, neonatologists, and surgeons.
And we have heard you say that you do an amazing job working with parents, breaking down all of this information and really putting them at ease. How do you take care of the families during this very difficult time?
Well, I really consider that one of the most important aspects of my job, and it's one of the things that I find the most pleasurable. I enjoy meeting with them at this time, which often feels like a crisis, and trying to take a complex and potentially overwhelming situation and make it as simple, understandable, and manageable as possible. I like to take as much time as they need, and I really feel like the most important part of that conversation is letting them know just how much their family means to us and how much the care of their child means to us.
Well, you certainly put them at ease. Dr. Clark, thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information or if you would like to schedule an appointment about Penn State Health Children's Hospital, visit online at pennstatehealth.org/children's. Let's check in with Denise for the answers to some more viewer questions. Denise.
Well, Allison Mason, Communications Manager at Children's Miracle Network, is answering our viewer questions. She joined us again. This viewer asks, I heard CMN just helped purchase a new pediatric ambulance. Who benefits from that service?
Yes, we are so excited about this new vehicle going into service. Really, any child in our region could end up using this ambulance. This vehicle, I like to call it an intensive care unit on wheels. It really is this space where our expert care team can go to an accident scene, go to a hospital, pick up a child ranging from an infant to a teenager, and provide that life-saving care as soon as they get into that vehicle, and that care continues as they go to our hospital. And then that care continues in our level 1 trauma center and our highest level NICU. And, you know, this ambulance is equipped with all of the state-of-the-art equipment, and they have a state-of-the-art staff as well. And Children's Miracle Network has actually also funded a lot of things that go into the ambulance, including isolettes that can really transport the most fragile, tiny patients. And I have a little NICU diaper with me this evening to kind of give you an idea of how small we're talking about, how fragile, and making sure that they get to the hospital safely so that they can continue to receive that life-saving care. There's also space for caregivers to ride along too. So we're really excited to have this ambulance as well as some other ambulances that we've purchased in the past.
So our next question is actually about donating. How can I make a donation to the Children's Miracle Network?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to donate is to go online to our website, which is cmnhershey.org. And remember that all of your gifts stay local to help kids right here in our community. You'll also find a lot of great content on that website to meet kids like Deacon and Cayden. The other way to donate is by calling our office, which is 717-531-6606. And you can also send a check made payable to Children's Miracle Network to P.O. Box 852, Hershey, PA 17033.
Allison, thanks so much for joining us tonight and for answering all of our viewer questions.
Absolutely.
And Allison will answer your questions until 8. So if you have a question, you can join the live web chat right now. Go to abc27.com/family. Back to you, Deborah.
Thank you, Denise. Joining us now is Dr. Sean Safford, Surgeon-in-Chief at Penn State Health Children's Hospital. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
It's scary when your child has an emergency. Tell us about the special pediatric emergency room at Penn State Health Children's Hospital.
Yeah, it's very scary, and it's very scary when especially you don't know what kind of care is going to be ahead of you. And so here at the Penn State Children's Hospital, our pediatric emergency rooms have providers and emergency room doctors who specialize just in children's care. One of the significant adages amongst pediatric specialists is that children aren't just small adults, and the care that's being provided is tailored specifically to children here at Penn State Children's.
Yeah, and that's certainly great to know. And let's remind our viewers about how you offer pediatric patients the highest level of care. What makes the hospital so special?
You know, it's an extraordinarily special hospital. I actually moved back at here after being gone for 20 years. And I came back because this is one of the best children's hospitals in the world. And the care that we provide here is not just for the actual children, it's actually for the family, the communities. And it's pervasive throughout this institution that when you're here with your child, we're not just taking care of your child at the entry of the door, it's throughout their entire care.
And this is certainly good news that you've earned the Children's Surgery Verification from the American College of Surgeons. Why is this designation so important?
So the Children's Surgery Verification is actually something that the American College of Surgeons gives institutions that are demonstrating the highest level of care possible. You actually apply for this, they review your entire institution, and externally they actually confirm that we're providing the absolute top level of care. They usually will give 2 levels of designation. In Pennsylvania, we are actually the only level 1 children's surgery verification and only one of 38 throughout the entire United States. So it's a pretty special designation to have. And it's pretty significant to have this type of institution in our backyard.
Yeah, that is great news. Thank you so much, Dr. Safford, for being with us tonight. And we also want to thank Deacon and Cayden for sharing their stories, and you, our viewers, for sending in your questions. We also send a special thanks to all of the healthcare employees who are working during this pandemic. If you would like to schedule an appointment or if you would like more information about Penn State Health Children's Hospital, visit online at pennstatehealth.org/children's. We want to thank you for watching tonight, and we wish you good health.